they're the lowest scum on the planet Earth.
That's right.
They're gonna probably clip this site.
Yeah, like
Well, they're gonna clip it. Well, they always do.
But now let's go back to Job 9:24, because now this is what they did when they took over the planet, when the Most High gave them this planet. And get Isaiah 24:5. Good?
Yep, I still got Isaiah.
Okay.
Yep, it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof.
Right.
If not, where and who is he?
So who did that? Now, you know, lately they've been having all different type of pictures of the different nations, painting, you know, the so-called picture of the Lord as their nation. That's just something recent. You know why they did that? Because for a long time, beginning with Abba Bivens all the way up to Elder Ariak, should I say King Masha, Elder Ariak, Elder Yaquab, on down the line, Elder Tahar and other men that came, you know, Elder Gabor, Elder Rakar, and so on and so forth. We've been always saying that when you go all throughout the planet Earth, the other nations haven't painted the Lord as themselves. The only one that really painted the Lord as himself was the so-called white man. So what did they do? Being the devil that they are, trying to cover all grounds, they pay somebody to paint pictures to make the so-called Jesus, as they call him, to look like the other nations.
Right.
But prior to that, they wasn't doing that.
Right. Like, so to try to answer if people say, oh, wait a minute, you know, now he's not just white. He got people. Right. Everybody, whatever culture he's from, they paint him the way they look.
That's right.
Which is bullshit. But now the thing with that is, all right, okay, say you got Chinese people painting the Chinese picture of Jesus, so-called Jesus Christ, right? You ain't gonna see that picture in Africa.
Nope.
You ain't gonna see that picture in the Arab world.
Nope.
All right, but you will see Caesar Borgia all throughout the world.
That's
in
right.
Africa, amongst some damn Arabs.
Yep.
All right, down in South
Even
America.
among them Arabs that's getting their ass blown up right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got a picture of Caesar Borgia on their wall.
Yeah, they're getting their ass shot
They could
off.
be in a goddamn cave somewhere. They might have a picture of Caesar Borgia in the cave.
So you can't run and hide from who you are, but the devil.
That's right.
You can't hide from it. And all these facts are now coming up. And that's why you keep clipping the sites, man.
That's right.
Because this is, I mean, regardless of whatever the little reprobate demons that troll through the site, whatever, regardless of what they say, this is powerful information, man.
This is solid information.
It's solid information. And guess what? It's spreading. It's spreading. And Israel is waking up, man.
That's
The
right.
rest of the tribes are waking up, man.
That's right.
You guys talk all this shit about the breakdown of the tribes or whatever. Let me see you try to sit there and actually break down the tribes, man.
Well, wait a minute.
That'd be the biggest comedy show ever, man.
Yeah,
It's already a comedy show.
Yeah, and where the hell are you guys at out on the street speaking?
On the forefront.
Oh, which
You know?
now I have to say this. You same monkeys, you Yishmen motherfuckers that we talking about, you fucking Yishmen. You in your fucking bullshit video, Bantus, that Bantus bullshit.
Bantus is
Yeah, them those are Hamites.
You do show a picture of this book in your video. And you read a passage out of here, which I forgot what the passage was, but it's neither here nor there. But you fucking monkey. Now, we never said that the Ashanti, the Mandingo, and the Igbo weren't Israelites. Those are Israelites.
Yeah, we
never said that.
And we always
said that. We never said that they weren't.
Right.
And the slave trade was concentrated on the west coast of Africa, which the Congo is part of the west coast of Africa.
Yep.
So there's Israelites there in the Congo, and there's Israelites that was trafficked from the west coast to the Sudan, and there was traffic from the west coast. It wasn't just coming from the west coast to the Americas. Them Hamites and Arabs were taking Jake and trafficking them eastward across Africa to the Sudan. They were sold into the Sudan, where the Sudanese, the Watusi, and the Zulus are. There's Jakes that were enslaved among them. There was Jakes that was sold out to Elam or the East Indians.
There was Jakes that were sold to the Arabs, the Ishmaelites.
Jakes sold to the Ishmaelites, and then Jakes was sold as far out as Turkey.
Right. Yeah.
Jakes were taken from West Africa and sold as far east as Turkey.
Right, and then some of them Arabs, I believe it was the Arabs that was taking the Jakes, cutting their rods off and making them eunuchs, you know, to guard them. You know, so there's a vast history. You got Jake that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, so you dummies, you think that we say that there's no Jakes in Africa.
We ain't never said that.
You know, there's no Jakes in Africa.
We ain't never said that.
You're stupid, man. We've been saying that. Where the hell you think they got the bulk of the slaves to come over here to this side of the world from so-called West Africa? And then you had other Jakes that migrated around. What about Egypt?
Right, but see, you guys are just dealing with just Judah as if it's a so-called black thing.
Right.
Right.
We dealing with Judah, Benjamin, Levi.
Simeon.
Then we dealing with Simeon, Issachar,
Yep.
Manasseh.
Zebulon,
Reuben.
Yep.
Gad,
Asher, Naphtali.
Naphtali.
That's right.
All right, where's your breakdown? Or where are you dealing with those tribes at?
Right.
You ain't doing nothing but being a bunch of damn reprobates,
A
man.
bunch of fucking demons.
A bunch of demons, man. If you were serious or sincere, if there was any sincerity in you guys, you would go out there in the highways and the byways. If you were confident in that
and
bullshit,
film yourself.
and film yourself.
Put it up there.
You like to try to prove like, aha, I thought we don't do that. Aha,
Yeah.
aha. Look, y'all said this. Well, look, well, show us you out there on the streets teaching that. Hell, show your faces. You guys don't even like showing your faces, man.
And you might get the cops might roll up on you and beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You know, you guys ain't serious about what you're doing.
Nah,
You're
you
full
ain't
of
not.
shit, man.
And then I'm gonna show you full of shit, because you know what? Whatever passage you quoted out of this book, you should have read the whole fucking book or read more of the book,
Right.
motherfucker. Now I'm gonna show you something in here on page 126. Hebrewisms of West Africa. It says for I am of opinion that the Americans originally were before the captivity of the 10 tribes, even from Sem's near progeny. Sem is Shem.
right.
From Shem's near progeny. In other words, from Shem's line.
Right.
It says, meanwhile, the question had been seriously taken up on the continent and popularized by one of the most brilliant Jews of the day, Manasseh ben Israel. He was basically a so-called Jew. I believe he was a rabbi. Now, he's one of the proponents in history that a lot of people refer to. Even the guy that's mentioned in this book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, Montezinos, studied under this guy Manasseh ben Israel. Now it says here, Manasseh ben Israel, a native of La Rochelle, while yet a boy, moved to Amsterdam with his parents. So he was in England. This guy was in England. Early in the 17th century, in due course, he became one of the most distinguished orators in Holland and established the first Hebrew printing press in that country in 1626. Though the influence of a fellow Jew, Aaron Levi. Aaron Levi was the Jewish name of Montezinos. That's mentioned here in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, that went to Mount Quito in Ecuador.
Ecuador.
In Ecuador, he went to Mount Quito, I believe it was Mount Quito in Ecuador.
Yep.
And he was the one that the natives greeted him. He's seen the natives greet each other. Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Alahaya Nawa Yahweh Akkad, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one. So Montezinos actually witnessed this, but his Jewish name was Aaron Levi. But his Portuguese name was Montezinos. Now it says in here, Aaron Levi, better known as Antonio de Montezinos. Manasseh became a strong advocate of the theory that the North American Indians were in fact the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Point blank.
Yeah.
Now, there's more.
That's their book, huh?
Yeah,
That's
this
your
is the
book.
book you
That's
brought
your
out,
book.
motherfucker. How come
That's
you ain't
your
read
book,
this,
son.
motherfucker? You fucking Bantus faggot.
Hey, that's your book. Why you ain't read it?
How come you ain't never read that? How can read it? You gotta give page 126, 127, and 128, motherfucker. Go read it, motherfucker. I watched your fucking bullshit video, motherfucker. I watched your fucking video. I'd like to fuck you up, straight up and down.
Yep. Well, you know when when that time comes, the Lord gonna give us the power.
Yeah, the Lord
Yeah,
gonna
he
fuck
gonna
you
give us-
niggas
he
up
gonna give
anyway.
us the power, man.
You know, right now we can't do nothing. You know, we're not gonna threaten you guys of doing nothing to you because right now you got 911, and if you call 911, they might come and shoot you. You might get hurt.
Yep.
Well, guess what? These videos are doing more the damage to you than
That's right.
anybody can
That's
physically
right.
do to you.
Yeah, because the Most
yeah.
High is really the one that's going to do the physical and
Yeah, he gonna finish. The Most High gonna
hurt
finish
to
you. He gonna finish you because right now these videos is messing you up, and how we know is because you keep squinting. You be following these big,
Yep.
obsessed with them. As soon as they come up, then you try to make one of your videos and try to tag along,
Yep.
so to speak.
But that's all you do.
You know, and you get all
put
messed
GMS
up, man.
tags on your videos so you can give
You
views.
get getting all messed up with these videos.
Yeah, we
man.
don't put your tags,
Yeah.
Bananarama and shit like that.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You know, you devils. We don't put your tags on our videos. We don't need nobody to watch our videos. You know,
Right.
Your people watching our videos. If they watch it, they watch it. We're not trying to get people out there, you know, that follow you to watch our videos. The people that follow you guys are bugged out.
Yeah,
Yahweh
they-
already said
yep,
they're
yep.
blind leaders of the blind, and if they follow the blind, they shall both fall into a ditch. So let
keep
them fall in the
following you.
ditch. You know, we only concerned with the elect of Israel,
Yep.
of the 12 tribes.
Now, there's some more, page 127. It says, many outspoken advocates to the general theory of the Israelitic origin of the American Indians. For some time, missionaries in America, especially those in Mexico, had been sending home reports of religious customs and beliefs that savored or favored much of Semitic origin.
And where? In Mexico?
Wait a minute, you got a problem with the Mexicans being, you calling them Amerigooks,
Right.
you calling them gooks, the Mexicans, Native American Indians. Motherfucker, this is in the same book that you bought out in your bullshit video.
Right.
You fucking retard. I'm gonna read it again.
That's right.
It says, for in some time, missionaries in America, especially those in Mexico, have been sending home reports of religious customs and beliefs that favored much of Semitic origin. Thus,
Origin.
Thus, the
Right.
Jesuit Acosta reported that the Indians had an infinite number of ceremonies and usages which reminded one of the ancient law of Moses.
Hey,
Wow.
You want some more? You want some more? I got more for you.
now you know what? Now these guys, they say that the so-called Mexicans, they're not Israelites because they committed human sacrifices. Judah,
Israel was
Benjamin,
doing
and
human
Levi was doing the
sacrifice.
same thing.
They
The
still
other
do
tribes
it.
that were doing, they still doing it. You know, look at Levi on the island of Haiti. You don't think they do human sacrifices out there?
That's why the Mosai, they do it. It's the biggest out there.
Yeah.
That's why the Mosai is matter of fact, I think as we speak, or later on tonight, the Mosai is going to run through there with a storm.
Yep.
That they're all concerned about. That's going to jack them up because they ain't recovered from that last earthquake the Mosai hit their ass
And that was
with.
what, 2005?
2008.
Hey,
2008.
about
Beginning of
5
the
years,
year.
yeah, about almost 5
So
years.
look at that.
When that big earthquake hit and destroyed, ripped Haiti a new asshole.
Hey,
They ain't recovered yet from that, man. And the Mosai about to throw some horrible torrential rains down there, a tropical storm on them. Because why? They be doing all of that stuff. They be sacrificing people, trying to bring people back from the dead, having what they call zombies down there and shit.
That Ovia
Dealing
shit.
that Ovia and voodoo.
Voodoo, yeah.
That's heavy down there. So what do you mean? And guess what? And a lot of that, they were practicing that over there in Africa too. They do the same thing over there in Africa.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, a lot of them so-called gods that you see among the so-called Latin tribes was brought over here by Jake.
Yep.
You know, the Yoruba and the Yoruba tribes and Legua and Yemaya and Chango and all that. That was Jake that brought the so-called Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that brought that over here. And guess what? The manner of the Israelites over here was what? They worshiped them gods. Because in the wilderness, Israel was worshiping those gods secretly.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And where was those gods from? From Egypt. And the Lord said that you worship any god, even newly gods that have newly been formed. So anytime something came into place, you best believe one of the Israelite tribes or all of the tribes are going to worship it. You need something to be worshipped, they'll worship it. You know?
And you know what? Niggas, I got more for you in the same book. I got some more for you. Now it says here,
Before you read that, right?
Okay.
I want you, I just want to hit this real quick, because this is what's happening right now.
Sure.
This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. And that's what's happening. It's been happening for the last, 400 or 500 years? With the so-called white men during the Renaissance lying on history, right? It says that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. So by those lies that they taught, by so-called Christopher Columbus discovering America, so-called Jesus being a so-called white man, the virgin birth and all that stuff. The white man are the Israelites. The Chinese are the Israelites. All them damn lies it's been flooded out here to try to what? To blind the people of the Lord. But the only one that's going to be blinded are the ones that are not part of the elect, the ones of the elect of the 2/3.
That's
right.
right.
You got an election of the 1/3 and you got an election of the 2/3. It says, and the earth helped the woman. So after all this dirt and all this covering up that the so-called white man did, the earth helped the woman. How did the earth help the woman? Through archaeologies, through different pictures, through different relics. like the 10 commandments down in Los Lunas, New Mexico, on that stone.
That stone. in Los
Which
Lunas,
was amongst the so-called Latin tribes, so-called Indian tribes, and many other different things that they found on this side of the world that gives credence that they're Israelites. Historical books like this that are bringing out information of things that the so-called Europeans, the Edomites, have encountered when they came over here and saw and mixed among the Israelites that were here. So it says, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And that's why we're reading this information, to show you how the Most High fulfilled the prophecy of the earth helping the woman by swallowing the flood that the dragon cast out against her. So there, brother.
Now here, it says here, page 127. It says Mexican mythology, but it was reserved for Viscount Kingsborough.
That's him.
Who gathered all the testimonies into a single volume to become the real propounder of the theory that would trace to a Semitic source those Indians' customs and traditions.
Yeah, that's called Antiquities of Mexico. That's what he labeled that. I believe it was an 8-volume book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thus he writes, it is impossible on reading what Mexican mythology records of the war in heaven and of the fall of Zoltemoc, which that's, I believe, their version of Satan. That's how the Mexican mythology, excuse me, and the other rebellious spirits of the creation of light by the word of Tonacaticulti, and of the division of the waters, of the sin. It says this word I really can't pronounce it. Yetzalaku Hukui.
Just do the best you can.
And his blindness. It said Yatzalaku Hukui, and his blindness.
That sound right to me.
And nakedness of the temptation of Suchiquikal, and her disobedience in gathering roses from a tree, and of the consequent misery and disgrace of herself and all her posterity. Not to recognize scriptural analogies, but the Mexican tradition of the deluge, which is the flood, is that which bears unequivocal marks of having been derived from a Hebrew source. The Viscount then develops the Mexican idea of the deluge and its subsequent events, such as the Tower of Babel and the dispersion of nations, in parallel with the Bible story.
Yeah, so how the hell did they know about that stuff? Because they were on their side of the world.
Right.
They were in Israel, in Samaria.
They were once reading the Torah.
Right, they were once reading the Torah. They was once keeping the Passover. They were once wearing the fringes and the borders of blue and the garments and the breeches, and coming before the public assembly of the priests when Ezra was reading or should I say, going back, Ezra was reading the books of the law in front of the Israelites at that time. But then when they were around, even going before that, during the time of Moses and Aaron and them, they was being read the law back then. So all that stuff goes back to them.
Yeah, because remember when it tells you what's it, that 2 Kings, when it says they were gonna leave Assyria to go to a land.
It's in Ezra's.
Oh, that's in Ezra's. And as a matter of fact, I think I got it.
Yeah, bring it out.
And it tells you that the reason why they're gonna go there, which I'm gonna read it, was to keep the laws. So now, you assholes, where was that place at then? Where did they go at this point?
And I bet you, I bet you that when the Spaniards came over here, and mainly the Spaniards, because they're the ones that first had contact with our people here, I bet you when they first came over here, they probably found books of the law here, actual books of the law. And when they saw it, they was amazed and they burned them. Because a lot of those records they burned. So when they saw them with the books of the Torah, with not books, with the scrolls, they burnt them things. Because they knew, said, wait a minute, how the hell did these people get these scrolls? Where did they come from?
Right.
Well,
and they knew though.
Yeah.
And a lot of them knew.
Yep, that's right.
They were briefed. They knew where they was going. They knew what they were going to encounter. They didn't know probably what state they were going to be in or whatever, because it's been some years or whatever since people had contact with them. Only people that had recorded contact with them at that time was like the Vikings and maybe certain like Hamites that were coming back and forth still trading, right? But now this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. I started 39. It says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes. And see, and again, that's why they had to get the Apocrypha from out of the Bible. Right. This section, they had to take this section out because this is going into the history, just like we're reading in these books.
This is going into deep history.
Deep history, breaking it down, making it crystal clear, as Elder Ariel used to say. Yep. All right. Now it says, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, which that links right back up with 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. It says, whom Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, which was what? The land of Assyria. Right. Where pretty much they were put in slavery. Right. And they knew why they were in slavery, because they were transgressing the laws and commandments of the Most High.
No, go ahead, brother. There's one more point I want to, when you get, there's a point there I want to address once you get to it. Come.
So it says, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, which were the Assyrians they were in captivity under.
Right.
It says, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
That's right.
That's the key. Where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
Which is over here in America, which was known as the land of Canaan, or where you get Canaan from.
Yep.
Which means the unknown.
Right. Yep. That's why Canada was Canaan Da.
Right.
The fourth Canaan.
Right.
Because Da is a fourth letter in the Hebrew alphabet. So Canaan is Canaan Da, or the fourth Canaan. So all this land was pretty much known as Canaan because one of the terminologies or definitions of the word Canaan was unknown. You know, you had lowland and then you had unknown. So this was like an unknown land at the time.
Yep.
You know, so we're gonna keep it rolling. The battery's probably about to die in another 15 minutes or so. We're gonna keep it rolling, you know, as long as we can. If it cuts off, it cuts off. So go ahead, brother.
Good. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
So now if they're going to this land where never mankind dwelt, to keep the statutes that they never kept in their own land, how are they going to know of the statutes? They're going to bring books of the law. They're going to bring scrolls, should I say, of the law. That's right. Over here to this side of the world. So when the Spaniards came here, because it tells you when you read the history that they burnt a lot of their books and a lot of their history, that's why there was not much that was left. So some of the accounts that Viscount, what was his name, Viscount Kingsborough,
Viscount Kingsborough,
that he wrote down was accounts that the so-called Spaniards had wrote down concerning these people here. You know, going back to James Adair, James Adair. I'm sorry, not John Adair. James Adair, and other Spaniards and different sources of different so-called European or Edomite sources, and he put them all down. Why? So because they burnt all the records. So it's very possible. Well, no, they did bring the books of the law over here.
Yeah.
To keep it. You know, because one of the customs of the law was what? Every Sabbath you had to read the Torah.
Right.
To the people. You know, and make them understand it. So if they were coming to keep those laws, they brought them over here. Not had to, they brought them over here.
And the proof of that is when they went down to Mexico and really different parts.
Yep.
They seen them Peru. I don't know, Española.
Yep.
Certain parts they seen them rehearsing the law, the Sabbath service.
Yep.
They were reading out of the Torah. They were saying the chant, the Shema Yasha'Allah.
Yep. The sanctuary, the Holy of Holies.
Holy of Holy.
They had all of that, but the fucking Spaniards burnt it up.
Yep.
They're the ones that burnt it up. Go ahead.
Right. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Right.
It says, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Right.
That's right. because those waters are rough and treacherous.
That's right.
And the Most High held back the storms, so that way they were able to pass over. And as a matter of fact, the way that they came, like we said in the last video, they came under the Horn of Africa.
Yep.
So under the Horn of Africa, and in that area where the Horn of Africa and the Horn of South America are, that area is basically Tornado Alley or Hurricane Alley. The hurricanes start and they come up from there and they work their way up the coast, and they come up here to the coast of America. From way down there, South America, they come all the way up, the hurricanes come all the way up the coast. And this is hurricane season right now.
Wait a minute.
Hurricane season starts from I think June to November. It ends in November. So from June to November is hurricane season, and the hurricanes, they come up from that way up.
Wait a minute. You know what? The scriptures say that they went into a land where never mankind dwelt. Now you assholes out there say that the Bantus are Israelites, and that when they left, they went down into Africa. First of all, there was people inhabiting Africa at the time. So what the fuck are you talking about?
That's why they don't want to deal with this.
Because
talk over
right,
this.
Because it basically said they went to a land where never mankind dwelt. Africa was already established and inhabited
and dwelt.
And guess what?
Yeah.
They didn't have to go through the passage, and the Lord wouldn't have to hold back the ocean and stuff like that to get to Africa.
Right. Now there's another point. Now I want to get to another point. Go ahead.
So it says, for the Most High showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Now I want you guys out there that are talking about that only Negroes are Israelites to give me a document or a record to where it took a year and a half through the Euphrates River to get from Assyria down into Africa. Because you said around the Sudan or around that area there, those Bantus there, those are one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, even though that land was already inhabited.
Right.
But I want you to show me a document on a record where it takes a year and a half to get from Assyria in a ship on the sea through the Euphrates down into that area of Africa. I want you to give me a document that shows that it takes a year and a half to get from Assyria through ships down into Africa right there. Yep. Give me a document that says that. And you're not going to find one. But we got the document here that proves that they came over to this side of the world. Matter of fact, I'll read this real quick. We finish that up?
It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. The same region is called Asareth. It says, then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through.
Right.
Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
Right. That's when Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were brought over here to this side of the world. And now we're coming to that point where the reunion is coming together, and the marriage supper of the Lamb, which is Yahushai, the Most High Yahushai in Israel, going to be brought back together, and we're going to go back to our land, and there's going to be peace.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm trying to see if I can find this one quick precept. Yeah, where it speaks about that they came over here every 3 years. They brought. I mean, I'm in the area here of the scripture.
This is the 8th chapter.
Yes, it's 1 Kings, either 1 Kings the 9th chapter, or 1 Kings the 10th chapter.
It says Solomon rejoiced every 3 years, because it took about 3 years for the voyage. He had voyages coming back and forth, and it took them 3 years. It took them a year and a half to get here. And they cut down wood, trees. They gathered gold. They brought back turkeys, apes, and different certain exotic things, and packed them up on the ship, and then turned around and brought it back to Jerusalem.
Yep.
To beautify Jerusalem, to build the temple and to build Solomon's house.
That's right.
And it took them 3 years.
Right.
And Solomon rejoiced every 3 years.
That's right. I got it right here. This is 1 Kings 10 and 21. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. So every 3 years. So they were going from Tarshish, which is Spain, over to the Americas and back every 3 years. So it took the tribes to go on around down through Euphrates into the Indian Ocean, down around Africa, the bottom of Africa, over here to the Americas. It took them a year and a half, because King Solomon also had a navy of ships that was in Ezion Geber, which was in the Gulf of Aqaba, which is the top eastern side of the Gulf of Aqaba in the Red Sea, and they used to come that way. The Zidonians used to come that way.
Exactly.
And the navy, and that's what they knew, to go that way. But then you could also come over here through Tarshish or Spain, and you can come. He had a navy there. They will come over this side of the world, the Zidonians and King Solomon's servants, to get whatever resources they needed to bring it back over to Jerusalem. You know, for the beautifying of the temple, for the beautifying of King Solomon's house, and other things, as the Elder Tazadakba just said. All right, so you got any more on that? Or any more goodies?
More about the Mexicans, yeah. It says,
you had something?
Nah, that was it in Ezra. I got Isaiah 25 still. I had Hosea 4 and 17, but the point kind of bad.
All right, so just read Isaiah 25 and 7 real quick. We're gonna begin to start wrapping this up. And if you have any, any other goodies in there, if not, there's more. So don't worry about it. There's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
And then that Lord Viscount or Viscount Kingsborough, he had 8 volumes of books.
Yep.
So if you read through those, because what we read was just like little excerpts from the book, and the lesson that we did, and we didn't even read all the excerpts that we had. We just read certain of them, and there's tons and tons of more information. And it's going to keep coming out.
Yep. As the days go on, more
right.
of it is just going to be unraveled and it's going to come out.
Yeah, and you brothers out there too, if you have information, bring it out, man. Don't hold it back. Don't wait for 1 or 2 men to bring it out. Don't wait for the elders to go into stuff. Y'all do it.
Yeah,
the Lord, if you got information, do it. Bring it out. I mean, this is a free-for-all. This is information going out by the tons, because the tribes are waking up. We're not the only ones in the work. Remember what Yahushua said? I pray to the Lord that He send laborers into the vineyard, for the harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. So you brothers out there that got information, don't sit on it. Oh, well, the elders are going to cover it.
Especially if it's good information.
Right.
Bring it out.
Just bring it out. Don't hold back. But with that, we're going to close it up, because the battery's about to die. And, we're going to see you in the next time. Shalom.
Okay, shalom, brothers.